Power is not just about ruling. It's about choosing which battles to fight and which ones to walk away from. Tonight, I will tell you about a king who faced a choice that would define his reign and his soul. A choice between self-preservation and compassion, between what was easy and what was right. King Elias ruled the prosperous kingdom of Valmir. He was everything a leader should be: bold, wise, and visionary. His people flourished, his land stretched far, and his enemies feared his name. But one evening, a messenger arrived from the neighboring kingdom of Orlin with desperate news.
Orlin is starving. Our crops have failed. Our wells are dry. Our children die while we beg for scraps. Will Valmir help?
Elias stood at his palace window that night, staring into the darkness. His advisors had already given their verdict.
We owe Orlin nothing. Their failures are not our burden.
If we help them, we weaken ourselves. Resources are finite. What happens when we have none left?
Compassion is a luxury, Your Majesty, and luxuries break kingdoms.
Elias dismissed them all, but their words gnawed at him. He was a king, not a savior. His people looked to him for protection, not charity. But then he remembered Orlin's ruler, King Aldrich, once a proud ally, now a man reduced to pleading for his people's survival. They had fought beside each other in past wars, had once feasted in the same halls. How far did leadership extend beyond one's own borders? Elias had built Valmir with strength, intelligence, and ruthless decisions when necessary. He had seen weaker kings fall because they hesitated. He knew that a leader who could not make hard choices would be consumed by them. Yet as he stood in the stillness of his chambers, doubts crept in. He imagined the hollow eyes of starving children, the desperation in Aldrich's voice. He thought of his father, a warrior king who had taught him that leadership was fire. It could forge or destroy. His advisors would call mercy a weakness, but was it weakness or something greater? His mind battled between two paths. If he sent aid, his kingdom might suffer. His people might resent him for giving away what was theirs. But if he ignored Orlin's suffering, what kind of leader would he be? What kind of man? The fire of leadership burned within him. It had always guided him, and fire, when wielded wisely, did not just destroy, it illuminated. Dawn came, and with it, Elias's choice. He gathered his people, standing before them as their king, but speaking as a man.
A kingdom's strength is not in how high its walls stand, but in how we stand together. We will help Orlin, not because we must, but because we can. And one day, when hardship comes to our gates, let it be known that we did not turn away when another suffered.
Silence followed, a long heavy silence, then one voice, then another, a slow rolling wave of agreement. Not all were happy, but they understood. And in that moment, Elias was more than a ruler. He was a leader. It was not an easy road. There were protests. There were whispers of doubt. But when the first carts of food and water crossed into Orlin, when their suffering eased, something changed in Valmir too. A kingdom is not just land, it is people. And in saving another, Valmir became stronger, more united. Orlin was saved. Valmir endured. And years later, when a brutal winter struck Valmir, it was Orlin that came with grain and warmth, unbidden, unasked. Their fire had been rekindled, and now it burned bright enough to return the light Elias had once given. The King of Wands teaches us that true power is not just in holding, but in giving. Leadership is not about control, it is about vision. Sometimes the greatest risks bring the greatest rewards. And sometimes a single act of kindness changes the course of history. What about you? When have you held power in your hands, and what did you choose to do with it? Have you ever hesitated, knowing the right thing to do, but fearing the cost? And if you face that choice again, would you be bold enough to take the risk? If you found meaning in this story, share your thoughts below. When has leadership, yours or another's, made a lasting impact? If you've ever been in a position to help, even when it wasn't easy, tell us what you did. And if you stand at a crossroads now, remember, the choice you make today could shape a future you cannot yet see. Be the leader who chooses to make a difference